Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a good day. This is the Day In, Day Out podcast. This is episode number 80, where I was very lucky to have Natalie Scott on the podcast today. She is a money mindset coach. We were basically talking about some of the strategies people can put into place to help them in the oncoming months after post lockdown world, and what sort of things are lacking with it in regards to financial education for people on their day to day. It was a very interesting conversation, and it kind of it opened my eyes to many a thing I'm missing from my repertoire as someone who's in their mid 40s, and I did not. I didn't know some things which I was like quite surprised at. So please sit back, enjoy the podcast, and please subscribe as well. Have a great day and enjoy the show. Peace. Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo, this is episode number 80 now. Yes, today I am very privileged to have on the podcast Natalie Scott. She is a money mindset coach. Yes, how are you today, Natalie?
I'm very well, very, very well. The weather's beautiful, so no complaints.
Oh, yes. No, like put it this way, I am enjoying the weather at this present time. Yesterday, I felt like I was going to just literally melt in my chair. But I was just like, yeah, loving it, loving it. Other people who might be in my household might not be as, how can I say, enjoying the weather as much as I. But that's another story.
We had a bit of rain last night, so it's much cooler today.
Oh, yeah, like it rained about 2 hours ago in North London, in South London. Is that correct?
Yeah, it rained around, about 6 to about 8. A lot of people missed it. A lot of people are still in bed. I saw the rain, and it was lovely. I welcomed it. Stuck my head out the window and just embraced it. The breeze and it was lovely.
Just stared into the rain, God, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, it's a relief. Yeah. The reason why I brought you on to the podcast today, over the next few months, there is going to be I'm currently on furlough. Like with the conversation we had before, you said you were on furlough, but thankfully you're back at your current job. There is going to be a lot of changes for people in September, and October, with knowing where they are going to be at with regards to employment or other things. And with you being a money mindset coach, I was just basically reaching out to you today to say, to find out what some sort of strategies, tips they can actually do to, how can I say, face the oncoming storm, as they say.
Okay, so me personally, I'm quite the optimistic.
Yes.
And the optimist, sorry. And I find sometimes that people don't like that, because in the UK, the Brits are known for being quite miserable. Sorry if I'm offending anyone, but it's the truth.
Okay.
And I feel like, misery loves company. We all moan about the weather, we always complain, and it's just a normal thing. It's like British culture. But when you find someone who's happy all the time, you kind of shun them and be like, oh, why is that person always happy? And the reason that person's always happy, because even if it's like raining and thunder and storm outside, they always see the positives in a bad situation. And that's an abundance mindset. If you welcome more abundance in your life, you're only going to get more. But, a lot of us have a scarcity mindset, which doesn't even allow us to do that, which is why we can never see the good in the bad. We can never see a way out in a situation. So before we can tackle anything, we have to really sit down with ourselves and basically discuss, why is it that I am the way that I am? And how is it affecting my relationship with money and my situation? So loads of people need to literally get into that. And it's hard because you can't do it on your own. I mean, you can try, but then that's why you've got people like myself and other people that actually work with individuals to help them. Because when you start tackling people's money mindset, it's like a light bulb goes off and they're like, oh my God, this is the reason why I'm like that with money. This is the reason why I'm living paycheck to paycheck. this is the reason why I haven't got certain insurances in place. So it's like you have to really talk to them and see what their relationship's like about money, how they speak about money, how they feel about money, because money is very emotional. It makes us an emotional people. And, you know, let's be honest, in London, in the UK, we don't talk about money. You know, in certain communities, we don't talk about money, and we need to talk about it more.
Yeah, what I often find is, like, you often see it this way when you say it's about a mindset thing. When people like go out there and win a large sum of money or inherit a large sum of money, like you think, right, that's you set for the rest of your days. But before you know it, that money has disappeared and gone. And like you find themselves right back at square one, if you know.
Exactly. That's simply because they don't know how to manage their money, you know, and this is something that we're not taught, you know, it's not in the curriculum. And I think it's done deliberately, actually. We're taught to basically, you know, go to school, get our qualifications, and then be on a hamster wheel for the rest of our lives and work until we pass away, basically. So we're not really taught anything to do with money management. And because of that, when you do get people that win the lottery, you know, you've heard the stories, people win the lottery all the time, or do they? Not that I know of, but they win the lottery and then the money goes, they end up in some kind of bankruptcy, or, you know, they just blow it basically because they've never had that kind of money in their lives. And the thing is, people always talk about, oh, I would love to be rich, I'd love to have all this money, but would you know what to do with it? You know, you become rich, and it's how you make it as well. If you get rich that quick and you've never had any trial or tribulations or anything to get you to that point, the money will go because you don't know how to manage it. People don't even know how to manage their paycheck, which is probably an average of £2,000 a month. People can't manage that. So what makes you think you can manage millions?
Yeah, no, like, this is the thing. More like, it's one of those things when I don't know about you, maybe when you first started, like, getting money in and everything like this, like when you get your first paycheck in your sort of teenage years, you spend to that level. And then as time goes on and you get more money, as long you think, yeah, life is going to change and things are going to be better. But quite often you just keep matching that pay.
Exactly. Most people that earn more money, they just spend more. So I have clients that say to me, oh my gosh, but you know, if I earned like £10,000 more a year, I'll be fine. I was like, you wouldn't, because it just means the way you're living now on a decent salary, by us giving you more, you're only going to increase your lifestyle. So that's the thing again about managing thousands to managing millions. If you can't manage thousands, then don't expect millions. And if you can't manage the thousands that you do get a month, you can't expect to manage a pay rise of £10,000 because you're just going to increase your lifestyle. So it's all about budgeting. People don't like that word, but you have to budget what you have.
Yeah. With regards to a budget, if you were to, like, say I came along and went, yes, I have an income of, say, £35,000, and like, yeah, this is how much I'm earning. Like, what would be some of the key things you would say as a budget to have? Like,
okay, so me, I always say, and I preach it all the time, pay yourself first. So no matter what comes in, you need to make sure that you're putting aside money for yourself, whether that's the recommended the 10% or more. I would say go more if you can, but let's just start with 10%. So you look at what's coming in, 10%, no matter what comes in, 10% is for you. And you automate that payment. A direct deposit goes into an account that you don't have easy access to because you're putting money away for your future. Whatever goal you have, you're doing that. Then you look at what you've got left. Okay, cool. Okay, I've got to pay bills. So my rent or my mortgage, all the bills included, that comes out. Then you look at all your outgoings. And I get my clients to print out their bank statement and get like a highlighter pen and go through everything that comes out. And it's crazy when you do that, you know, because it adds up. Everyone knows how much you get because most people have one income, right? And then you just look at what's coming out and you look at these things, Netflix, Amazon, Uber Eats, Just Eat, Deliveroo. It goes on and you're like, wow, add up all those takeaways you've had and see how much you spent in the month. And they're like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Because at the time they don't think. And because we're becoming a cashless society where everyone's using their phones, their watches, they're not typing in their PIN, they're not withdrawing cash, it makes it very easy to do that.
Yeah, no, like, this is the thing. Yeah, like, I don't have one of the tappy cards on my bank account. No, like, because I know that would be just like a death by 1,000 cuts right there. Because look, I remember when they first introduced that, I think it was £25 or £30, like
£30.
Yeah, just to tap. Great.
Yeah.
I looked on, like I was in, I think Marks and Spencer's supermarket, and now it said £45, and I think it's like everywhere. So, like,
It's easy.
oh, but yeah, I think it's better, like, if you just give someone a large, like, their whole salary, and you've got them to pay it out, like, they'll be like, I think they'll be surprised. And when you said all those small bits here, there, it's like a death of 1,000 cuts, I can imagine.
It adds up. It definitely adds up.
Yeah.
And what I would also say is that when you're looking at all your outgoings that you're spending on, what I would say to get that down, again, so 10% will go towards paying yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 50% is towards like your bills, your rent, your mortgage, all of that. And then look at what you have left. What I would then suggest is have a spending account. So how much do you feel comfortable spending a month? Some people might say £200, some people might say £400. Okay, if that's what you have, if you got that, put that £400 on a Monzo card or something you have easy access to, because it's your spending. You can do whatever you want with it. Once you reach that limit, if you've blown your spending money on week 2, that's your business. That's it. And that's what I mean. It's like when you give people money, be like pocket money, this is your pocket money for the month. You got to now budget that. So if it's £400, split it £100 a week, split it up and really start managing your money. And in that way, you'll be like, oh, because I've actually got £100, that's all I can spend. And I'll even go a step further sometimes. If you are someone that is tempted, because obviously you can tap everywhere, withdraw the cash out. Because let's be real, I don't want to get too deep, but the banks know what they're doing. I look at what's going on. They know what they're doing. They want us to spend more. So to make us spend more, cashless society. And they make it out, because of the pandemic and because of what's going on, it's much better if we don't handle cash, we just use our card. Yeah, that's one aspect. But I feel like they couldn't wait for this moment to happen, because it's just like, boom, use your card. So what I'd say, take the cash out. I still do this myself, and I'm a pretty good saver, but I take cash out for all my lunches and dinners. Because I love food, and I know that's where I overspend. So I withdraw the cash, and I trust you not, when you have that money in your hand or in your purse, it's very hard to break a £10 note. Because once you break a £10 note, it's basically finished, right? So you kind of appreciate money a bit more when it's looking right at you. But when it's like on your phone or on your watch, then it just goes. It's so easy to tap, 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 tap. So that's an exercise I tell people to do, is withdraw the money. And then you actually see the value of it, because you see how quick it leaves.
Yeah, no, like, this is the thing. One of the things I would say, like, with sort of business and maybe like the banking industry, what they've done over the last 10 years or so, especially with the subscription model, is they've removed friction from the system, so it's as frictionless as possible. And when you got no friction there's not going to be no sort of like, okay, wait, I'm about to make this payment. Maybe I need to make that payment. No, it's like, it comes on this date and it's gone. Starts, direct debits first. And direct debits are handy when you're doing this. And when you said put 10% away, and you went, yeah, just do that automatically. You, like what I said there, it's about removing friction from your sort of action as quickly as possible. 100%. And with everything, there's less and less friction. So that payment comes out like that. And if you're making the payment by cash, it's harder, because you've got to go to a cash machine, draw that cash, and go to a place, pay that money. Less and less places seem to be taking cash these days. But that's the way I see it. I might be wrong. You tell me.
No, I mean, I know why they're doing it, and I understand. But again, you have to take advantages, like take things to your own advantage. So if you see that they're doing that because they want smoother transactions and quicker processes, then again, the whole paying yourself first and making that automated, making that frictionless. So you've got to do something for yourself as well. And I think, obviously, I always talk about automation, because if you say, yeah, I'm going to pay myself, I don't know, £300 a month is going to go into my savings account, and I'm going to manually do that. the likeliness of you doing that, you might do it for the first month because you're geared up. And then the second month you might be like, oh, but I really want to buy this, I really want to buy that. But again, if you had a budget in place, you know what's coming in, you know you've accounted for that £300 to go into your savings account, it shouldn't be an issue because you've got your spending account as well.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people do, they're like, oh, I'll save what I have left. And then again, this is where mindset comes in, because if you choose to save what you have last after, like, it's coming to the end of the month now, and whatever you have left, you then choose to save. I always say, so is that how you value yourself? You put yourself last. And then they're like, no, I put myself first. I was like, well, you don't, because you don't even pay yourself first. You pay every single bill, you know, shopping trip, expense, food, and then whatever you have left, the crumbs you have left, you then decide to pay into your savings account. And the reason I say crumbs is because most people live paycheck to paycheck, right? So say it's like the last week of the month and you've got maybe £100. Instead of thinking to put that into savings, you're like, oh, £100 left. Oh, what can I do this weekend before I get paid? A lot of people do that because they know, oh, well, you know, I'm getting the money back.
Yeah.
I'm getting the money back the following week. And then obviously, boom, the pandemic happened. And now you're on 80% of your wage if you're one of the unlucky ones that doesn't get your company doesn't pay the 20% top up. So now you're on 80%, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm on 80. What am I going to do? Survival. Everyone's got survival instincts in them. What happens is you deal with it. Okay, you're getting 80% now. You have to deal with it. You can't get any more. So then you rebudget. And to be honest, a lot of people have saved some kind of money in this pandemic simply because they can't go out and socialize, so they're saving money there. They're not commuting, so they're saving money there. But what are they doing with this money? A lot of people I've spoken to, they've been shopping out of sheer boredom, buying clothes to go wear, you know? And then it just makes me think, wow, UK has got some serious problems because this is the perfect opportunity to save, you know? Because a lot of people, applications for universal credit went through the roof when this came about because no one had an emergency fund, no one had savings. Everyone was like literally going with their begging bowl to the government. And I feel like if the pandemic can teach you anything, it's next time to be prepared. Because, you know, we don't know, we could have a second wave, you know, there could be another lockdown. You know, the way we commute, the way we get to work could all change. It's definitely going to change. It's not going to go back to being the same. So it's like we have to be prepared. Let this season teach you of what to do next time. Because it's important, like insurance, we don't talk about insurance, like that's important. Income protection insurance, you know, a lot of people, when they were made redundant, they had no money. I mean, depending on how long you've been in the company, depends on how much you're going to get from them, you know. Yeah. But if you got no money and you've been made redundant, I always say you should have an emergency fund, at least 3 months of your expenses. So if anything was to happen, you know, you've got that to tie you down for a bit while you're looking for another job. But if you haven't got that, the next best thing, have you got income protection insurance that has redundancy cover? Most people don't even know these insurances exist. And it's like, well, if you had that in place, you would have been all right. You would have had some money to tie you over. So that's why I'm going to keep on saying, okay, you didn't get it right this time, but when you go back to work, start looking at income protection insurance because it does cover you if you fall ill and you can't physically work. So you need to have these insurances in place. So at least you feel like, okay, I'm good. I'm covered if anything happens. I know quite a few select people that when this happened, they were okay because they had their insurances in place. Yeah. You know, payout that you get as well is really good because some of them pay out straight away. Some of them pay out around 3 months after, but regardless, you get your payout and they continue to pay you on a monthly basis until you're back in employment. And if it's a critical illness situation where you fell ill, so you have to take out the payout, what then happens? If you don't go back to work, they pay you until retirement age. So insurance is really important to have, especially like income protection insurance and critical illness insurance. These are very, very important.
And like, for example, like I don't know, you're not an insurance broker, but you might have taken out a policy. So I'm not going to like go which is the best one. But how much is this sort of income insurance going to cost, say, on a monthly basis?
It depends on like your age, your lifestyle. Are you a smoker? Are you a drinker?
Right.
And to be fair, Yeah, it all depends on that, because especially with the income protection insurance insurance is there if you fall ill,
Right.
critical illness, if you can't work. So they obviously got to make sure that you're okay. Like, you know, you haven't got any illnesses currently. If you've got illnesses currently, they're not going to insure you.
Right.
So yeah, nice board of health there. And then the younger you are, so the age really does play, you know, a matter in it as well. It's weird how with car insurance, the younger you are, the higher it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
But with life insurance, income protection insurance, it works in reverse. So the younger you are, the better. I've had life insurance since age 25, and I pay £13 a month. For income protection insurance, about they're the same. It just depends on the level of cover. It's not really expensive. It really depends on the level of cover that you want. And obviously income protection insurance is just income protection insurance. If you want redundancy cover in there, that's another addition. But not all companies do the both together. So you need to make sure when you're like doing your comparisons that you have that redundancy cover in there. Also, what changes how much you pay is in regards to how much cover do you want in your redundancy payout. Say, for instance, I'm on 50k a year. Do you want it so that when I'm out of work, I'm getting paid that same 50 grand a year?
Yeah.
That's going to cost you more, because what insurances do, they're all different. Some of them say they'll pay you up to 50%, they'll pay you up to 80%, or they'll pay you the full amount, but it depends on what their cap is. Their cap might be 50k.
Right.
So if you're on 30k, they'll cover you for the whole 30. If you're on 70k, they're only going to cover you for 50 because that's their max.
Yeah.
So it's literally looking at all these different things. I heard a story, actually. I was watching a podcast, Black Millennial podcast, and I was listening to somebody's story on there. He had a financial advisor on there talking about one of his clients, and one of his clients was 32, and he had income protection insurance for maybe in his mid-20s. He took out income protection insurance.
Yeah.
And he bought a property that he lived in, and then he fell very ill. He had an illness, and because he obviously had income protection insurance, when they paid him out, they cleared off his mortgage. And obviously he gets payments until he's able to go back into work. And he's 32. But if he didn't have that insurance in place, what would have happened? He would have to sell his property. You just don't know what situations that we're going to get in. And because we're young people, we think, oh, I'm young, nothing's going to happen to me, you know? But me, I'm insured up. I'm only 30, but I'm insured up because anything can happen. You just don't know what hand or what card you'll be dealt. So I think it's important for people to realize that, yeah, you've got your good health, but nothing's wrong with just insuring yourself. You know, we insure our vehicles, I hope. We hope. Yeah, but we insure our vehicles, and I haven't made a claim in 8 years, but it's there. You know, it's important to have. So the same way, you've got to insure yourself and make sure you're protected in any situation.
Yeah, like this is the thing. Like, okay, look, I'm in my mid-40s at this present time, and income protection insurance, I won't lie, you know what I mean, have no idea about it, how much it costs to take it out on a monthly basis, how far it would cover, like the whole cap system, and let's just say, in my relationship, my lady knows a hell of a lot more. And look, if you say you do everything on spreadsheets, like if you see a small lady come bursting through the wall and hug you because she'll be like, I told you spreadsheets are the future. That's how everything's done. But it's a case of there is, like, with regards to sort of financial education, like sort of protections, everything like this, I think it's not just my generation, generation before, like your generation, everything like this. I don't think there's enough said, and I've seen YouTubers come up, offer financial advice and stuff like this. Problem with YouTube, I find, because I live in the UK, it's mostly American based, if you get what I mean. So the message, I don't think, comes across as clearly, or it does come across, but because it's American.
Not relatable.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I think more emphasis needs to be put on it because, look, if people say if 90% of the population had this coverage, well, I feel sorry for the insurance brokerage because they'll most already be on the verge of bankruptcy, but there wouldn't be this sort of emphasis on needing to do furloughs for everyone. There wouldn't be this emphasis on basically having to do more unemployment, well, like universal credit. It would take a lot of pressure off of the system in many a way.
It would. It definitely would. But then I just feel, I don't know, though I'm an optimist, I do feel that things are done deliberate. Right. I feel that the government loves the fact that the UK, we're a nation of borrowers. We're a nation of living in credit. Simply because, you know, when we leave our money in the banks, it makes the banks rich, you know, because obviously our money's traded daily. And the thing is, say I take out a loan for £10,000, that £10,000 doesn't come from the government. That £10,000 comes from someone else who has money in their bank account. If we all went to our banks tomorrow and said we want to withdraw our money, the system would crumble. So that's what I mean by that. They're deliberately making us borrowers. And I don't know, it makes me think, you know, where the future's going, especially now we're becoming a very digitalized economy. I can see that happening. We're not really handling cash. Like, you know, when the cash went from paper to plastic, I was like, something's going on, you know. I'm not like no conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I just start reading stuff. I was like, something's going on. Why have we gone from paper to plastic? Why are we now doing everything digitalized? We're definitely going through a change. And I feel like we all need to be prepared and start doing some research and start reading up on stuff, because you don't want to be 10 years from now or even sooner, you get hit with like, wow, this is happening. And, you know, oh my gosh, if I only acted sooner, or I just try and look into stuff, or it's crazy. So I just feel like everyone needs to be very mindful, you know, pick up a pink spreadsheet, pick up a broadsheet newspaper, read the back of it, and really get clued up on what's going on.
Yeah, like this is the thing, like something which just come to my mind just now, because there's financial education and then there's been financially savvy. In my mind, that's when you're savvy with something, it's the next level up. Because
the next level up, correct.
Because like this is the thing, stuff like credit and stuff like that, if you're savvy with it, it's then a very sort of powerful leverage tool to be able to do a lot of things. But 100%. If you don't have that financial education as a base, you can't be savvy. Or if you do think you're savvy, you must be missing a large portion of things, if you get it.
But I feel like some people are definitely stuck in their ways, because, you know, I was harping on about insurances before the pandemic. That's something I've always talk about, everything money related. And, you know, some people would be like, oh, they'll message me and we'll have a conversation because they want to learn, and I'll direct them in the right space. A lot of people, ignorance, you know, I'm fine. And then obviously the pandemic happens and they're like, oh my God, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. Again, it's all about preparation. But I feel, for instance, even with investing, so saving right now, saving your money in the bank, we're not getting much because, you know, the Bank of England base rate has dropped twice. You know, it went to 0.25, then it went to 0.1. So it's dropped. So that's already a signal to let you know that your money in the bank right now is not doing much. It's great for borrowers. So, you know, if you want to take out a loan, want to take out a mortgage, especially now the stamp duty has been waived until next March. So, you know, great opportunity for that. But if you're a saver and you're getting that, you know, that your money's basically you're losing your spending power because of inflation. So that's why I always tell people look into investing. Now, a lot of people are scared of investing, especially women, because they don't understand it. So when I say to them, or I offer my services, or someone else, I'm working with someone at the moment and we're building this course. And in this 4-week course, it's got everything. It's got money mindset, savings, insurances, power of attorney, and investing. We've literally come together and we've done this. And when we're telling people that this is actually here, you wanting to know this information, we've put this course out because I put a lot of things out there for free, and so does my partner. We both put a lot of things out there for free. But we thought, you know what? Let's see who's actually serious. Let's see who actually wants to better themselves and actually, you know, get the knowledge that you don't get in schools, but pay for it. So we've obviously put the course together. We put it out there. And yeah, we've sold some tickets. We're almost sold out, actually. So I don't want to bad anyone up too much. We've definitely sold out tickets. But what I'm trying to say is, my following, her following, I thought we would have been sold out a lot quicker. And I thought people would be, you know, willing to like part with their cash. One, it's not expensive. We did like an introductory price of £149, which is cheap, because people, I've paid, I'm only 30, I've spent around £10,000 in the last 7 years, and that's just on my own education. I've been to uni, you know, I don't look at uni as like, oh my God, a debt loan, but it's there. But I've spent money on myself, my own education, because I need to be better for me. Like all this stuff that I'm talking to you about, I know it because I've had to go to seminars, I've had to rub shoulders with certain people. I've been in rooms where I'm the only woman there or the only black female there. So it's like, I'm doing all of this, I'm taking all this information, and I'm not someone who holds on to information. I'm a sharer. I need to let everyone, I need to let my people know, I need to let women know that, guys, we are missing something out. They don't want to share this with us, but I'm here to tell you. And again, I find when you tell things to people and it's free, you're giving them free information. You know, you're not giving them advice, but you're giving them free information. Some who are clever will run with that information and apply it. Oh my God, she's telling me this for free. Let me do my research, let me do my due diligence and get on it. Other people will be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. And then they just, you know, it goes in one ear, out the other, done. And then I noticed the ones that take themselves even seriously, even further, are the ones that will pay for your time. And those are the ones that will apply and do the work. Because I think people love freeness, but freeness is not always good, because when you give someone something for free, they take it for granted. But when you put a price on it, it kind of forces them to be like, well, I've put money to this, so now I have to do it. And that's why I've started charging.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And this is the thing, I do agree with what you say for the most part, because, okay, look, we've got the world's biggest library at this moment in time, the world's greatest resource of knowledge, like if you get past all the cat videos, obviously. But like, yeah, it's freely available. But like, if you got a room of 100 people, I would say 90% of the people, it will just fly by. Like, out of the remaining 10, there'll be a couple of people which will do a little bit more cursory interest. Like, then another 5 will maybe go a little bit further. I'm being generous, most probably, with that 5. But one person will actually like come up with a plan and act on it, because information is floating out there about how you can do this with a YouTube channel, how you can do this with a business, how you can do that, this. And look, I consume that information as well. I'm not going to say, I'm a person who's like, I hear this information, I execute on it immediately, because that's the way I am, and I believe in, no. There is many a time I will hear information, go, that is a great thing, blah, 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 and I won't act on it myself. But when it comes to definitely with financial information, everyone's chasing that sort of like, okay, big play, get rich quick scheme, which ultimately at the end of the day, it may work for maybe 2% of the people, but normally to sort of build sort of long-term financial security, like, and wealth, it comes from like doing small, consistent, boring moves time and time and time again. And I'm no financial expert. Look, I can bring you my lady out here and she'll like just simply go, have you seen this guy's bank account? No. I'm not here. I'm not here with him for the money. It's like, but it's one of those things where I've kind of come more awake to it over the last 12 years. And like right now, it's a kind of strange world where trying to act upon that it needs to be done. And when things simmer down, like fingers crossed, I'm still employed and stuff like this, I can sort of work on that like more immediately, or sort of like turn to try making, not having all my eggs in one basket, where I can have a second form of income, a third form of income, and move forward on that type of thing. You get what I mean?
100%. And I think it just depends, and it goes back to mindset. It's like, you know, the what's the analogy of, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't
make it drink.
And it's the same. So I don't force people. I have clients that sign up to like my free discovery call to hear about what I do, and then I just know, we're not fitted for each other. we're not going to be able to work with each other. I said, you're not ready. And the reason I can tell they're not ready is because it will end up with me doing all the work. And when I'm working with a client, it really shouldn't be me doing any of the work. It should be you and me guiding you and making you accountable. So again, you can't force someone to get ready. Really, they have to come on their own accord. So I don't rush anyone, but I do make it quite pressing that, you know, when people ask me questions of when should I have done this, when should I have done that, I said yesterday, which shows the urgency in what's going on in the world and how you don't want to be left behind. And especially, I know people that have got kids, you know, there's so many things out there you can be doing for your kids to build up their wealth, because I'm tired of, especially it was like maybe it was last year or the year before that, I was just tired of seeing GoFundMe pages when people passed away. Young people are passing away, and I just keep seeing these GoFundMe pages with people to put money towards funeral costs and stuff like that. And I just thought, no, guys, we need to do better. That's happening. Like, every young person should have life insurance. And I think especially in our community, when we talk about insurances and death, we're like, oh, you're trying to kill me, or you're, you know, oh, you want my money and stuff like that. But it's just about protection. You know, like my parents, Caribbean, and I get the same chat sometimes from my dad when I talk about these things. I want to know, like, where's all your papers? And, you know, they don't say it, but how they react, you can tell they think, what, do you want me dead or something? Like, I don't want your money, I've got my own. But what's important is that when our parents do go, as children, we're the ones left to deal with it. So I just want to be prepared and know where everything is. And again, I hate the fact that when, like, say, like my granddad, when someone older generation, when they pass away, that's when you may get a bit of inheritance or a bit of wealth. And I'm all about changing that. I shouldn't have to wait for anyone to die in my family for me to be given anything. And that's why, you know, when you've got children, there's so many things that you could put in place so that they have a better life. There's like junior ISAs. Not a lot of people know that there's a thing called junior ISAs. So you put a maximum of 4,000, just over £4,000, just over 4,300. You can put, that's your cap. You can put that on an annual basis. And the government gives you bonuses on that as well. And with a junior ISA, you can either save it in cash or you can save it in stocks and shares. I mean, for me, investing always outperforms cash in the long term. So if you've got a child that's just born and you want to have it for 18 years, because junior ISA does mature into an adult ISA after they turn 18. So if, you know, you do it from birth to the age of 18, and you're putting in, you know, if you can put the max, great, because it doesn't have to just be the parents. It could be, you can give that account number to family members, friends, you know, godfathers and godmothers. So what happens in between those 18 years, you're putting in as much as you can, basically. And because of compound interest, so say, because you're investing it, you might get a 5% return instead of a 0 point whatever it is at the moment. So what happens is that money that you're putting in is growing. And because it's been invested in stocks and shares, it's growing at 5% a year. So when you actually look at that after 18 years, that child of yours is going to have a quite a big pot of money, well over £100,000 by the time they're 18. And that's obviously on the basis that, you know, we keep going up on a 5%. About a 5% on an annual basis. If that continues, your child will definitely get or have over £100,000 at the age of 18. What's good about this account, because it's a junior ISA, although you've taken it out for your child, it's under your child's name. So you can actually take money out. So it's locked in for 18 years. Once they turn 16, they are the legal owner of it, but they can't take any money out until they're 18. So it sits in there for another 2 years. And obviously, if you raise your children, I would say if you raise your children right, but again, your children have their own minds. But if you kind of raise your child to let them know the value of money, then by the time they're 18, they're not going to blow that money on something stupid, right? They'll either use that money for further education if they wish to. That could help them to get on a property ladder, you know, because a lot of people do not have the bank of mum and dad, but this is a way of giving your child the bank of mum and dad by just being, you know, by putting things in place. And then there's also another thing that you can do for your child, and I found this out about 2 years ago, child pensions. You can actually open up a pension account for your child as soon as they're born. And that's just a way of just giving them a head start in life. So, and I know people are like, oh, but that's a long time. And, you know, listen, pension account, this is a way of creating generational wealth. So you're having a pension account for your child, and we pray and hope that they do live a long life where they're able to access that money. If anything should happen before that time, then obviously that money will go to either next of kin, they could have had children, anything could happen, but the money is there. So there's so many different things. we just have to look for this information. And, you know, and when people like myself or other people that are talking about it, just take a time to listen to a podcast, or just, there's so much information out there. And that's why I understand sometimes it can be overwhelming, because there is so much information. But once you sift through it and be like, you know, start to know who the people are that do certain things, you'll be fine. Because I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly bringing that information to my audience.
Yeah. Like, this is the thing. You're right. There is so much information out there. But like, one of the things which is disappointing, and when I say this, I look to myself as well, not getting on any high horse or any soapbox, that how involved money and how it affects our sort of day-to-day lives. That when you're talking about the child, like the child ISA can end up being £100,000. Look, if they've got £100,000 at their disposal by the time they're 18 and they want to like go to university, that is basically a free ride. That is a free ride, living quite comfortably, doing a university course, doing a master's if they want to, and like, you know what I mean, being that much better. Well, when I say better, more qualified to have more options within their life. And here's the thing, because finance is so big, I would say there is typically, I don't think there's a lot of people out there who actually would actually spend time to watch a YouTube video, would spend time to read a blog, would spend time to even chat to, say you've got a friend who is like being financially successful, go, hey, what would you advise me to do with this, that, and the other? It's something where you go, yeah, you got to save your money. And like, look, people don't actually think about what that percentage is. When you go, yes, if 10%, people, like, you know what I mean? I could already feel people sucking the air through their teeth, go, 10%. But I got this, I got that, and can
exactly, start making excuses.
Yeah, can we do 5% or 2%? Like, it's better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, 10%. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at that guy. Yeah, because I feel you've had this conversation so many times, and you're like, going, come on.
It's just, and the thing is, it's just starting. You know, if it's a thing where you can't do 10%, my thing is just start with where you can. And there's loads of apps out there that can help you. I'm not a massive fan of apps, but there are loads of like free apps. If you're more digitally savvy, like Chip, Tandem, Plum. These are all different apps that you connect to your bank account, and they obviously look at your income and outgoings, and they kind of work out what you can afford to save each week, each month, and with your permission, they take the money out and they put it in the app. So that's a way of obviously it's a lazy savers way. So you're still saving, but I suppose that's just an easy way to do it. Bearing in mind though, that saves throughout the month, whereas obviously if you get paid at the end of the month or the beginning, you can just put a chunk away for yourself and it's done. So it just depends on what approach you want to take. But I think the message in here is start, like take action, do something, whichever way that aids you, that makes it easier for you, just do it. Because the worst thing is 5 years time, 10 years time, you've got nothing to show for what you have. Like, you've been working a job for 10, 20, 30 years, and you know, you've got nothing to show. Same for like young people, when they go to work and they opt out of their pension. I'm like, what are you doing? They're opting out of their workplace pension because they don't understand it. You know, I've had talks with HR companies. I said, we need to make it more attractive for like Gen Zs and millennials, because they don't understand it, and then they're withdrawing it. They're like, oh, well, I want all my money now. I want to live on money now. And it's like, no. But what happens if you do live a long life and you do retire and all you've got is a state pension, which is £170 a week, which we don't know if that's going to go up or come back down by the time we come around to retire. So, you know, that's workplace pensions. You know, why do you think they were brought in? Like, when people think that, oh, you know, these things were brought in to help us. Yeah, but it's because we had a pension crisis. That's why it was brought in in 2012. And I'll be honest, so in 2012, I was like 22, fresh out of uni. And at that time, you had the option to opt in. They've changed it now. So when it first came out, everyone was out of it and you had an option to go in it. I stayed out of it because I was like that. I was like, no, I want all my money now. Oh my God, why did I do that? Because I didn't know, I wasn't educated. And it was only like a couple years later when I went into another job and the option had changed. You had to stay in it. Your option was to opt out. I did some research. I was like, oh my God, why the hell did I opt? Did I not go in the first time? Because, you know, it's not only you put in, your company puts, and, you know, you can match it. If your company puts 5% and we go in at 3%, you can contact HR and be like, oh, could I put the extra percent as well? That's what I did. So when I started my job, I was on 3%. My company was paying in 5.5%. And I got a financial planner. That's the thing, I don't mess about. I booked time in with a financial planner. I showed him my portfolio and he said, oh, your company pays 5.5% and you only pay 3%. Contact your HR and tell them that you want to match it, because you can match it. And then I went and matched it, and all it is for me is an extra £20 coming out of my account a month. An extra £20 that's coming out of my account every month, and it's been invested with a great fund that's doing well, because, you know, a lot of people don't understand their annual illustrations, but I got my financial planner to look at it, and he told me how to read it and understand it. You just got to go out there and get the information, you know, because when you increase your pension by 1%, right, even if it's by 1%, it makes such a difference throughout the years. So I would always encourage people to look into that. How much is their company paying? How much are you currently paying in? And just bring it up, match it.
Yeah, like this is the thing. Like when you go, got a financial advisor to like that. I'm gonna just say it now. That would be very strange and highly unusual to the vast population, because to do that, it's like, right. I have no, like, the sort of initial cost. I think that would most probably put a lot of people off, but the sort of.
Well, you know what? I feel like there's ways around it. How I even met him is, so with me, I'm a nosy person, number one. It's probably because I studied journalism, so I'm naturally very nosy. I want to know what's going on. So my friend works for a tech company, and he said, Nat, we're having an event, part of like it was like a Black and Asian event. So we're getting people in to talk about money. And he says, I know that you talk about money on your platform. Do you just want to come and, you know, see what it's about? And it's free, there's drink, there's food. I was like, you got me at food, I'm there.
No, yes.
I was like, you know, listen, just, you know, put in the freeness, we will come running, innit? So I came, I sat down, and again, because money is my passion, and there was these two people talking about money and investing, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like drawn in. And I'm a person that acts really quickly, because if I like something, I go for it, basically. So after that, although I was already investing, and I knew a bit about investing, they had these different courses that they were only charging £25 for a workshop. There was investing part 1, investing part 2. I said, I don't want to invest in part 1 because I know how to invest. I want to invest in part 2. Paid was £25 there and then. And on one of my days off, I went. And when I went, I got so much valuable information, because I started investing at 25 and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that investing was an option, right? And I thought, okay, let me go to this event to see how I can spice that up. So I met one of the gentlemen there, and he's a financial planner, a bit different to an advisor. So I was like to him at the end of the session, when everyone had left the room, I was like, can I just talk to you for a minute? And I just had a conversation. I said, listen, the company that I actually went to have this event, I already got in contact with a financial advisor from them, and they came to my house. It was a free service, and they looked through all my stuff, and he was like, yeah, it all looks good. I was like, oh, I didn't want to get a financial advisor to tell me everything looks good. So obviously, when I went to this event and I saw that it was the same company, I said to him, oh, I had someone from your company come and look at my, you know, my files and my portfolio, and I wasn't really happy with the service. They told me everything was fine, and I know it's not fine. I know I can be doing better, I can be doing more. And he said, okay, how about I look at it? And literally, I didn't pay him anything. We booked in an hour session. So I came and saw him the following week, brought all my stuff, all my logins. He asked me for everything. He's like, oh, can I have the Seldo code for this? I was like, what's that? He's like, ring up your company, ask them for the code. I need to know everything. He looked at my private, I've got a private pension, I've got a LISA, and I've got my workplace pension. He looked at everything. He's like, okay, Natalie, I'm going to see you in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, I go to his offices. He brings out a folder that thick. And in it was literally everything. In it was advice. And he didn't have to do this, but I think it's because I took the initiative. No one else took the initiative at that meeting. They all just like took their information and left. But me, as I am as a person, I want to know more. I'm not satisfied. I need more. So he literally came out with this thick folder, went through everything, because I've got a property as well, I've got a rental property. So he went through everything and he said to me, okay, cool. Have you thought about having a mortgage decreasing term on the property? Have you thought about income protection insurance? Because I didn't have it before. I was like, I didn't think about these things. He's like, and then he went an even step further and did comparisons for me based on my age, how much I was earning. He did everything as if he was me. He did the work, all the work for me. And he gave me a list of different companies, how much they're charging. And he just literally went through everything. And then I left there more empowered. And it's because I took initiative. I took that opportunity and I just did it. And I talked about that on my chat, on my Instagram as well, how important it is just to take initiative. And that's the thing. Maybe I'm 1 in 10 people that would do something like that. A lot of people just take the information and run. But I just knew that I knew where I was going in my life. I knew that I really want to talk more about finance to other people. So I can't be telling people to go out there and do this, and I haven't done it myself. So taking that initiative, a lot of people won't take the initiative, which is why they will remain stagnant. Yeah. And there will be growth.
No, you know what? You say 1 in 10 people. I think you're 1 in 100 people would do that, because look, going to the actual course itself, like getting that information, but like to go up to the guy and go, yeah, you know what? Not happy about what this is, because like people, like there'll be many a person who would have went, yeah, if they were told, yeah, you're fine, you went, oh great, thank you very much, and walk away quite happy, and that's like great. But to go right, yeah, I was told I was fine, but I feel there's more what can be done, and
Definitely.
then for the person to come back to go, yeah, you know what? There's this.
And I think that's the difference. That's the difference between a financial planner and a financial advisor. I went to see a financial advisor because that's the buzzword that everyone knows, financial advisor. And you can go online and look at ones in your area. They come to see you. But with a financial advisor, I hope I'm not like crushing on anybody's industry, but they want to make money. So they want to see how much money are you putting into your pension each month and what can I make from it? That's what it is. And because he probably saw that I wasn't paying enough, because obviously I've got 3 different pension accounts and I pay myself first too. So I pay myself first and I put money into these pensions. So, you know, I can't be putting too much money across all 3. So maybe for all, she's not really paying that much. She's playing it safe. But he didn't say that to me, you know. And when I spoke to a financial planner, he was like, you are playing it safe in the funds that you're picking because your risk is more low risk and you're young. You need to be making more high risk. And he says, ideally, you need to be pumping more money into these accounts simply because you've got your workplace pension that's doing better than your personal pension that you've had longer. And the only reason why my workplace pension is doing better, because obviously when I pay, my company pays. So there's double the money going in. Whereas with my private pension and my LISA, which I'm using as a retirement product, I'm putting what I would put in one, I'm splitting it and putting it in across the 2. So he was like, you really need to be pumping more money into those. So he had really like a really solid conversation with me. And then off the back of that, I've like looked at my finances again, you know, cancelled a couple of subscriptions that I don't need. And I've pumped that money back into those 2 accounts. So I've taken the free advice. That session, I don't know how much it would have cost me. I don't really want to know. But the fact that it was free and I took everything he said and I did it. And even to this day, I brought other people to him. Like, I remained friends with him. And we always check in with each other on an annual basis. So it's like, you just have to take the initiative. And I even joined. So he actually works with this other lady. She has this wealth building program and you pay £10 a month and you're exposed to all these different things about property, investing, insurance. And the funny thing is, I'm quite well equipped in these areas, but I pay the £10 a month because it's a community of people that think like me. Although I don't need all the information in there, there's a community of people that want to be wealth builders, you know? And I think that I want to surround myself with people that are striving for more just like me. So I'll happily pay the £10. You know, I happily pay £20 a month for gym membership that I don't use. So I can happily pay £10 a month for a community where we have weekly webinars. We always have really high value guests coming in to talk about money. I'd rather pay £10, which is really cheap, to get all the information. And it's things like that. It's like people are unwilling to spend a bit of money to get a greater gain. Like a lot of people won't spend £10 a month on all this. They're like, oh, I can do it myself. And I was like, you can't. Because a lot of us out here are really faking it. Like, and I'm not about that life. A lot of us are faking it. A lot of out here look rich but aren't rich, and I don't understand that. A lot of people want to look rich because they can't be able to do the work to actually be rich, you know, which is why the UK is in this like credit crunch. People are borrowing, people are living beyond their means, driving cars that they can't afford the parts on. So it's like, you have to know what's important in your life. I think that's very, very important. And even myself, I've become less materialistic. You know, my whole mindset has changed because there's a bigger game out there. You know, I love nice things, you know, but it's just material, isn't it?
Like, what I'd say is, like, with getting this knowledge, with investing here, like shoring up things there, and like, you know what I mean, just basically making yourself more financially efficient. You mentioned you had like a rental property. Like, did this also sort of went, okay, yeah, I've got this, I've got my job and this is like money coming in. Did that sort of kick off like, going, wait a second, like if I'm putting all of these insurances here, there and everywhere, having one source of income is a very dangerous thing to have. Did that sort of spark that off for you?
I think from a very young age, so most people in my family have homeowners, and a lot of people in my family do have rental properties. So growing up and seeing that, I thought, yeah, that would definitely be me. Like, I definitely would want a property. Can you hear the ringing? Should we pause it? Can you hear the ringing?
Yeah, I can hear the ringing. Yeah, wait.
You want to pause it?
I can pause it if you want. That's not a problem.
It's not in your recording.
Well, I can hear it, so it's going to be recorded. So, like, just it's stopped now. So continue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You'll edit that out.
I like this. The thing I try with my podcast, I try to edit as minimal as possible. The reason why I don't want anything to be sort of lost in the edit, or like, so people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I try to keep it as raw as possible. Yeah.
No problem. So with that, I saw my family do it. So I wanted a piece of that pie. And for a long time, I've got my sister on board as well. I'm a twin. So obviously growing up with someone the same age as you know, we're very similar. So I was like, yeah, we need to get a property too. And she was like, oh, she wasn't really keen, but I'm the eldest and what I says goes. So I was like, this is what we're going to do. So what I did before we got onto the property ladder, I felt to myself, my dad's really old school with it. He didn't go for a management company, he kind of did it himself. And I kind of saw the ups and downs with that. I think one of the, I hope my dad doesn't hear this, but he won't. One of the memories that I have is one time when I had to go and collect the rent. And I was like, why am I collecting rent from your tenants? Why is it not going into an account? And when I went there, the woman paid me in £1 coins.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah. And then she gave me a bottle of Guinness to give to my dad. And I was just like, so that was number one. I was like, yeah, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the right way, because that's not how you do business. So that was like one of my most memories on that. So yeah, I was like, cool. And I'm definitely going to get a management company. Cool. Yeah. But then other things I didn't know about property, because I feel like my family did everything the old school way. Like back then, you know, you could trust your tenants and like be buddy with them. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. So what did I do? I said, okay, I need to learn about the property industry. I need to put my money where my mouth is, you know? And I feel I just saw something in the back of a Metro newspaper one day, and it was like a free course on property and, you know, learning stuff and whatnot. Yeah. So I said to the sister, let's go. She's like, okay, we went. And it was a free, like, 2-hour session where they talked to us about property. And then you can sign up for 3 days at £500. I was like, let's do it. And she was like, are you sure? I was like, listen, we want a property, don't we? We need to learn. We can't do this on our own. So we paid the £500, did the course. And after the £500, we were sucked in. We were like, yeah, I like this. And then there was a further course, which was the final one. And the amount was a lot. You know, it wasn't cheap. But again, I've always been a saver. So I've been saving for a long time. My sister's also been saving for a long time. And I think at that age, after leaving uni, we had the opportunity just to literally buy a property and live in it. we had money to do that. And I'll be honest, I like a challenge and I don't like always to take the easy road. So the money that I had to buy a property to live in, I took some of it and invested in myself in a 2-year course. And I was like, I could do this 2 years, yeah? This makes sense. It's not like 3 months course and I walk away from it and don't understand anything. This is a 2-year course based on different modules, based on having a mentor for 2 years. I was like, I'm doing it. I said to my sister, are you down? And she's looked at me like, are we actually going to do this? I was like, it's cheaper if we both do it together. She was like, okay, let's do it. We didn't tell our family what we were doing. My dad still thought we had the money in our bank account. We didn't say anything because, you know, naysayers, you don't want to say something to someone like, and it makes you feel guilty. So we did the course, and I kid you not, it was coming up to a year that we was like in this, learning everything, applying it. We've got a property. And I'll be very honest, I would not, hand on heart, have been able to get a property in the area that I wanted and all of this if I hadn't literally put my money where my mouth was and studied and learned something. I did courses, I was accredited, like I wasn't messing about. I needed to understand the property market because at that time I thought, yeah, I could be a property investor. I want to do so many different things. But property is hard and it's a people business, but it is hard. And we were buying in an area that we didn't live in. So we got our property. Luckily, we didn't need much doing to it. We got a management company and I've had that property for 3 years now. And it's only been empty for 3 months. And that was in the beginning, like in the first year. But as soon as we got the property, the next week, someone wanted to move in. So we were very, very happy. And we did that. And that's for me and my sister. And we did it, you know, and we would not be able to do it if we didn't really put our money where our mouth was. And then obviously after that, we just started building up our money again. And hopefully with the grace of God, we'll be moving out next year to actually buy somewhere and live together because, you know, we're both single women. It's like, well, I just don't want to live at home anymore. So we've got that option to do it. But it's like, if we didn't take that risk, if you don't take the risk in investing in yourself, putting your money where your mouth is because you're scared, then you're not going to get anything greater. If we never did that, you know what, we would have been living in a nice house, probably in London. I'll be honest, we would have been able to live in London in a nice house, me and my sister, but all we would have had is a mortgage. We wouldn't have had any other income coming in. We wouldn't have had a rental property with money coming in. So it's all about what is important to you. Some people might be like, yeah, living on my own and having my own place and calling it my own is important to me. Because a lot of people do think that when they buy a residential property, that it's a money maker. It's like, no, it's not a money maker. That's your home. It's where you live. When you buy a rental property, that's your money maker. That's your disposable income that comes in. So that's what I did. And then it's only literally doing that I learned that I needed to have a will in place. Although you don't have to, you don't have to have a will when you have a property because there's other stuff that's in place. If anything was to happen to me, there's a process that the money will just go to my family or the house will go to my family. But for me, I want to be very intentional. So I have a will in place that protects me. If anything happens to me, if anything happens to my sister, that property is protected. And it's just about getting geared up financially. And even through me getting the property and getting the will done, my financial planner came back round. He was the one that got me in contact with a really good lawyer. And he got a fee from that. Remember, I've never paid him for my services, but because he gave me a great lawyer, he got like a sourcing fee from that. So it's like, it's just all about who's your community, who's in your connections, and really use them and stay in contact with people. You never know when you're going to need them. And here I am today talking about money and trying to help other people with money, but realizing that it has to come from the mindset. Because if I had a mindset of the average 22-year-old, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I wouldn't have taken all the risks that I have done.
No, like this the thing, you wouldn't be like financially strong enough to do this. Like basically, if in many respects, sort of gym analogy thing, like yours to bench press like 100 kilos, it takes quite some time investment and like repeat it time and time again. You were like it. With all your previous work, it put you in that financial strong place where you're like, you're bench pressing 100 kg and you're looking to bench press a hell of a lot more. But without doing that investment, without doing all of that time, you wouldn't be able to do it. You would not be where you are today. And you wouldn't be able to like buy a property. are you looking to buy a property in London, or are you going to like skip out like I think a
You
lot
know
of
what?
people doing?
I love London. I love London, but with London, what I'm not liking is that they're just making London become a luxury for people to live in. Like for instance, with the what's it called? The congestion charge,
Hmm.
my car diesel, and now I can't even drive in my own area as of next year, October. I won't be able to drive down the road 'cause I have to pay. So there's all these different things that London's becoming a luxury to live in, driving's becoming a luxury. So I'm having to sell my vehicle, and then I'm like, no, I don't know. I love London, but
Yeah.
I want to miss it. I want to miss London. So I think I would go a little bit outside, not too far, but a little bit outside of London. I'll definitely go because you know what, you get more for your money. And I'm not saving up all this money to live in a shoebox. If that's the case, I'll stay in my parents' house and live comfortably.
Yeah.
But no, I'll go definitely out of London, get more for my money, and live a happy life. And if I need to visit anyone, we drive. So
Yeah.
definitely, it's cheaper.
Yeah, no, one of the things I think's come out of what with regards to well, not the pandemic, the sort of lockdown more so, where people just be like, okay, yes, you're locked down for the next 5 months. It was like, okay, many a friend who is still in London are now sort of like looking like going, yeah, you know what, wouldn't mind having a place with a garden or like just a little bit more space. And yeah, with regards to what you pay for London,
Mm,
yeah, that is not really an option,
no,
especially if you're spending
exactly.
like, yeah, mid six figures to like, yeah, low like seven figures. You might get a nice place at seven figures, but that's definitely not going to have the space you might have
No,
outside
it's
London.
not. You get a box in the sky somewhere.
Yeah, so it's like kind of trippy. So there is a sort of mind, like there's a shift, I think, going to happen with London, where I think a number of people are going to just like, oh yeah, it's time to move out of
But
London.
and you know what? What's sad with that is that all my family live in London. My family split across London and Birmingham, right?
Mm.
And most of my family are in London, and it's sad because where I live, I'm in walking distance to my family.
Yeah,
I'm a walker, so some people might be like walking distance, 5 minutes. No, no, about. So if I go 15 minutes that way, I'm at my cousins. 15 minutes that way, I'm at my aunt's. Like we're all very close. So the sad bit about that is that there's going to be a time when we're going to start moving further away from each other.
yeah,
And, you know, that's when it's going to get quite sad because we live so close now. And that's the sad thing is that Londoners, people that are born and bred in London, are being forced out. You know, gentrification is real and it's happening everywhere. And it's really sad that people that know London like the back of their hand, this is where they've been born and bred, we're forced to move out. But, you know, and it's just, it saddens me. Although I don't mind coming out of London because I want to miss it,
mm,
it does sadden me that I haven't got that option to buy a nice, massive house in Southeast London if I choose to stay in Southeast
yeah.
because it's just too much money, you know? Yeah, it's quite sad.
Mm. Yeah, like with regards to the sort of gentrification side, but like also when you think about there has been such an emphasis on key workers, especially this year, that anyone who is a key worker can't basically afford to
Mm,
stay in this like city. And like, yeah, I think it's going to be a case of, I think that's where London will suffer in the next sort of 10, 15 years. If look, it's all fine being a luxury city, but if you've got no one else who's going to basically service that city, or they have to
yeah,
go further and further out, yeah, that's not going to work in the long run. Not at all.
ridiculous. Yeah, they don't really think about stuff like that.
Mm. No,
But yeah.
no, like this is the thing. And yeah, slight change of tact with regards to yourself. Like I've checked and I've looked. You've got your Instagram page, you've got your web page. Like I haven't found a YouTube channel for yourself with regards to what you're doing. And yeah, you mentioned before, yeah, you were doing a podcast with a friend, and like you've stopped that over the
Yeah.
course of time. Like, but yeah, getting this message out. I know you mentioned you're doing a course and everything like this, but yeah, getting this message out to more people. Will you be doing a YouTube channel? Will you be like do it? Like, will you revisit the world of podcasting? What will you think you'll do?
I would love to have a YouTube channel. I've got the name and everything saved. I've got the channel there, just nothing's been uploaded to it. But I think, and even podcasts, I'd love to do more podcasts as well. But at the moment, I'm very happy at being guests on podcasts just to spread the message, because you know what it is? I don't want to spread myself too thin, because with me, I'm an all-in kind of person. Yeah. And at the moment, that's where you can find me on Instagram. I'm all in on Instagram, like trying to give you like every other day content, trying to have my face so you can see that I'm alive. Like that's where all my energy goes. And that's where my majority of my audience is at the moment. And then off a tangent of that, I have a newsletter. So at the moment, those are my main focuses. I would love to do a podcast and YouTube. And I think, you know what, it could happen, because again, you can just, with say for instance, like with this, you can do a podcast and you can chop it up on YouTube as well. So there's ways where you're not giving yourself double the amount of work. But I'm not scared, because I'm not shy. I love the camera. But I just feel at the moment, I'll be spreading myself too thin, because if I start doing YouTube, I want it to be consistent. I don't want to do a week of consistency and then you don't hear from me for another month. I don't want that. So it's just literally when I have more time, because again, it's, you know, I do work with clients one-to-one, and that's like 2-hour sessions, and that takes a lot of time as well. So it's literally just finding the time and finding better ways to obviously have one video and chop it up so it can literally be used in different places. So therefore I'm not having to do too much work. But yes, definitely something I do see myself doing 100%, because I like it. It's a nice way of engaging with people and changing it up.
I would say definitely go down the podcast route and basically do what we're doing here right now, audio, video as well. I'm just trying to remember, like there is a lady, and I think her name is Patricia Bright.
Patricia Bright, love her.
Yeah, like, because she does a lot of finance and everything like this. And I think, you like, you both have a similar kind of energy, but like you might have slightly different perspectives where, you know what I mean, where you can fit in, where you'll connect with a certain group of people. And I know she's connecting with people, and that shows the potential. And I think with regards to the UK, it needs more people to basically get that sort of financial education out there, because all it will be is it repeating again and again and again and again. Look, payment protection insurance, look, 5 years from now, when like 2020 is talked about and reflected upon on a number of documentaries, history this and history that, I think people are going to be like, yeah, especially if it's going to be record growth, because look, yesterday 20%, that's how bad the UK economy went down, 20%. And look, like the bounce back from that, I believe it's going to be kind of like it's going to go down, then, like, you know what I mean, tick tick tick, then go back up. Like I've heard, like I spoke to one guy who went, no, I can see it being like an L. And when I hear someone say that is just like, hey, just like down, and just like, you just don't see any exit out of this anytime soon. But 20%, that growth, when the growth starts happening, you know, it's going to be like, yes, the good times are back, and this, that, the other, and people will forget all of this and their financial hardships and stuff like this. And I think having that sort of education, having people talk about doing this, doing that, like, to help them if another one comes along, and it might come along, or like other things in life come along, to be prepared. I think that'll be highly valuable. Highly valuable.
I agree.
Now, seeing as I have cosmic powers, yes, my modesty shows no bounds. That's one of my powers. If I had the power to grant you one wish, what would that wish be?
Oh my word. Wow, I wasn't expecting that question.
Hey.
You know what? There's so many different ways I could answer this, but I think I'm going to go for what I would really want.
Huh?
I would love for financial money management to be taught in schools. Like that would be a great help. I mean, it might mean I might be out of business, but I feel that if money management was taught in schools from a young age, like introduce it from primary, make it like compulsory on the curriculum, so everyone can understand like what money actually is, what tax is, like all these different things. Like there needs to be some kind of finance taught in schools, and I think that would be amazing because that would give every individual a better start into their financial journey. So yeah, that would definitely be something I would like to happen.
I shall start working on that right away. My Cosmic Powers, sending it out there. Yes, I definitely will. With regards to a book you would recommend, or like a documentary you recommend someone to read or like listen to, what would that be?
Well, a book that I'm currently reading and can't put down is The Secret Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. It's really good because I'm all about like money mindset. And when I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been talking about. Everything that it says in the book, this is me. Like, this is what I'm trying to let people know. It's just about tapping into your inner power that we all have. You know, we are all cosmic beings. We all have this inside of us. So it's about basically talking about why rich people are rich, what poor people stay poor, how we are all destined for riches in our life, but we just don't know how to tap into it. Because something that I really took from that book was 3 statements that he says. So the poor man's mentality would say, I want to be rich, right? Because, you know, everyone wants to be rich. Then the middle class response may be, I commit to being rich. You know, it's a bit of a commitment, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, when you come from that rich mindset, it's like, this is what I'm going to do to become rich. So it's like 3 different steps. And most people at the one, I really want to win the lottery. I really want to be rich. Oh, I want that car. But they're not ready to commit to it. And they're not ready to actually do the work. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense as to why people are always going to be wanters and never going to get what they want. So that's a book that I always recommend because it gets you thinking about your mind. Other books that I always read, and this is not even money related, this is Feel the Fair and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. That's like the #1 best-selling book, New York Times. It's an amazing book. It's been out for years. Why it's so good, I always read it, and I don't really pick up books more than once. I read a book, I enjoy it, I put it down. I've read this book maybe 3 times because it's just a reminder that you are fearless and fear is not real. It's something that you conjure up in your mind before anything even happens. And what I like about how she writes is basically just letting you know that we've all been there, but what's the worst that can happen? You know, if you really want to do it, take the risk. And it has got level of mindset in there as well, because it just makes you think, well, say for instance, you want to quit your job, but you haven't got the funds to do it. Now, me, I'm always one of those people that, no, make sure you got some funds before you quit your job. But if you're that confident, you could, really, if you wanted to, you could quit your job and know you'll be fine because up here is more powerful than what's going on in your surroundings. So it's literally one of those books that just keeps telling you that whatever fears you have, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? And I've had to like put myself in a situation, I've just done it. And it's like, oh my God, that wasn't even that hard. Why didn't I do it sooner? Fairness, you know, it's about being fair. So that's a good book as well. How to Be a Badass. No, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. That's a really good book. Again, all these books have very, very similar threads going through it because it's all about money mindset, you know, owning your power. But that book is something I always recommend to my clients because it's telling you off the jump, you are a badass, you know, at making money. I used to think it was called How to Be a Badass, and I kept telling people that. But no, it's not called How. It's telling you that you are a badass. So, you know, the book is quite powerful in its title. So those are books that I definitely recommend. Oh my God, I could go, there's so many books. The Richest Man in Babylon, that's a great book as well. That teaches about paying yourself first. That book, someone said it to me, said, Natalie, you need to read this book. I was like, okay, I've read so many books and they're all kind of the same. He's like, no, you need to read this book. When I read it, I said, I know why you recommended me this book. It talks about paying yourself first, and that's what I talk about. And it's a story of how a man, it talks about paying yourself first, talks about investing, talks about compound interest, everything. It talks about everything in a story. It's like almost like a biblical story because the text is very old English. And when you read it, it's like, oh my God, it's showing how one man who was poor but smart, and he just literally kept accumulating his wealth. Great book. The Compound Interest by Darren Hardy. That book actually helped me start my investing journey. That was the first book I read. And after reading that, I opened an investment account. So that book got me thinking, because compound interest, in its title, it tells you what compounding is. And I was like, I want a bit of that. So yeah, a whole bunch of information there, a whole bunch of books, but they're really good. And if you're not into reading, there's always audio, and a lot of them are on YouTube as well. You can listen to them.
You know what? I'm gonna revise what I said before. Like, you need to do a podcast, one, and you need to do a YouTube channel. Look, because the information which is rolling around in that head of yours is highly valuable. Yeah. The energy and the enthusiasm you use to project just with the books, you're like, this book and that book, and you need to be out there, need to talk more. You need to get that information. Look, I have no idea how successful it would be, but if you can touch
it will definitely be successful. I think I'm not scared of success, but I know it will be. But it's just doing it. It's finding the time to do it.
Yeah, but put it this way, even if you just do one day out of the month where you just record 5 videos, and then you just upload that once a week, and do batch recording, and just take care of it that way. But yeah, get out there and look. When you I will be successful. Hey, look, I'm not taking anything away from you, but that attitude, that drive, everything. I think you can definitely touch a few souls out there and make their lives better. That's all I've got to say, because I would say do batch recording. I was talking to what's his name, Brandon. Yeah, he is. He basically helps people find their voices. He's public speaking, everything like this, to make their lives better. And he talks about, he mentioned how he does all of these videos. So he will take 3 days out of a month to record, and he records a beast, 10 episodes of the show, and he'll do that consistently. So he's got 2 years of content which is already good to go, and you got an editor to do that and stuff like this.
Yeah, outsource.
Yeah, but I would say if you do that, get that knowledge out there.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, you will smash it to pieces. Absolutely. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate that. You're not the first person, so maybe now I need to actually find the axe. Look at me, holding myself to accountability now.
Yeah, well, look, if I'm not the first person to say it, that means there's other people who can see it, and then you just need to make sure you go out there and do it. And hold yourself accountable. Make sure you execute with it, because thank God, you'll be first. Absolutely. And the amount of people you'll be able to help. And look, the world might not have financial education in schools at this present time, but you never know. You might be that advocate what helps push it that way. You might be the very person to help put yourself out of business, which would not be a bad thing, because the world would be that much better for it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Now, can you tell the lovely people out there how they can actually reach out and get a hold of you?
Okay, guys. So as I've said, I'm always on Instagram, so that's the best place to find me. It's Natalie Scott Empowers. And I'm also on Twitter as well. I do have some good tweets out there about money, and that's at Miss Scott's Way. And again, if you want to interact with me, you can interact with me on either of those channels. And you can also check out the website, nataliescottempowers.com. And there's loads of resources on there. There's a blog, sign up to the newsletter. And let's connect.
Outstanding. What I'll also do, I'll put all that information in the show notes, in the description down below. So reach out, speak to this young lady. I mean, all I've got to say is I'm inspired. I feel like I've had my eyes opened a little bit better. I've got to say, yeah, Natalie, thank you for coming on today. You are a superstar. Fantastic. Loving it. And I've got to say, oh, hey. And I've got to say thank you to you, my friends, my life warriors out there, whoever's still listening. Yeah, please stay safe, stay well, be excellent, be fantastic, be outstanding, be all the positive bees you can be in this world and more. Have a great day, guys. Thank you very much. And yeah, peace. And we are